Hey dudes, what's going on, brothers? Welcome back to Let's Play Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. I'm the Mysterious JG. So last time we defeated Mistral, the Cold Wind of France, and the probably easiest of the, I think, 4 members of the, one, two, three, four, no, I think it's 5. Yeah, the 5 members of this game's elite Foxhound, 5 Winds Squadron, or whatever the hell they are, and thus saved a real-life Eastern European former, it's a chunk of Georgia in the former Soviet Union, whose name I forget, but it's actually all based on real place names, and there was a terrorist who was being backed by because we're Mavericks. But there's an evil mercenary company called Desperado, and Desperado was helping the terrorists, and we went and stopped them. And that was kind of a thing. Like, this PMC came in and, attacked the country, and they blew up an oil refinery. We didn't prevent that. The terrorists that we were, I guess, meant to capture alive died. So we didn't get to hear Revolver Ocelot's ghost say, "Good, captured him alive." And it just seems like we kind of failed in that mission. Not real clear on whether the story considers it a failure or not. We went and we got rid of a bunch of Desperado guys and defeated them. But if their whole thing was to blow up the oil refinery, we failed. And if their whole thing was to, hold the oil refinery, then I guess we succeeded? Question mark? I don't know. But unfortunately, what I've determined, and man, I miss Bobo during videos like this, is because what we're about to get into is probably a whole bunch of codec. I like the codec conversations in the Metal Gear games when Bobo is there with me and we can kind of make fun of it together. And also, if I don't understand what the hell's going on, I'll be like, "Hey man, do you understand what's going on?" And sometimes between the two of us, we can figure out what's going on. But we're going to listen to probably a lot of codec in this video. I know. You don't have to watch. You can skip ahead in your preview window until you see Raiden fighting stuff if you want. I won't take it personal. But we're going to have to sort of figure out what are we here for, because there was some talk between videos and a little bit of talk with Kevin before we launched this video about something where a human rights group has hired us, a private military group, which seems strange, but a Human Rights Watch group has hired us to go on and investigate a series of child disappearances in Mexico. That's basically why we're here. And we think, for some reason, we think Desperado's involved. But, so this game was written in, the aughts, or maybe the 90s. I don't know. It must have been the aughts, because 9/11 is a thing that has happened before this game came out, because it gets referenced at one point. The situation in Mexico wasn't great when this game came out, and it has deteriorated since. So the idea that children going missing would be noticed and reported to a PMC is even more of a stretch than it would have been. But sadly, despite the fact that it's Mexico and that we got to wear a cool mariachi outfit, which we will later be able to buy using credits and wear in battle if we want, we just got one little scene of Mexican guys reacting to Raiden. And otherwise, this is going to be an obligatory sewer level. So, let's talk to Boris, Kevin, Courtney, and Dr. Ad nauseam. Man, now we got Wolf, too. It's another fun set of dialogues to have. And try to figure out just what the heck is going on.
How are things back in Abkhazia?
Thanks to the full efforts of the workers, power was restored in just 2 days.
Still, we're failures.
Impressive.
Only the power plant is back online, though. Refinery itself will likely be out of service for months. Fuel sent from Supsa is being used to power the plant for now.
Supsa's an alien planet that you've never heard of.
Impossible without a sniper. And in our focus on anti-cyborg combat, we were unprepared. Thankfully,
Maverick sucks,
other than
basically.
Financial losses, few Abkhaz citizens were seriously affected.
Yeah, we rescued that one guy.
Workers had already been evacuated, and most were hired back on to rebuild the refinery. We received payment and are not being blamed for the suicide blast.
How the heck did we
Good to
receive
hear.
payment? We
It
failed.
should go a long way to help fix our reputation.
Duh.
I guess we
And even
consider the
more
mission
good
a
news.
success.
Desperado is down one of its top captains.
The helicopter
they
pilot
learned a
of helicopter number
We
2.
can hope, but it is doubtful. We still do not know who is supporting them. Even if
mystery
we shut
benefactor
Desperado
of-
down entirely, their backers could simply hire some other PMC.
Whoever it is.
with other
you
weird
really think they're
international
interested in the pipeline?
wind-themed villains.
Who'd benefit besides the Georgians?
Hard to say. Whatever the plan was, it went up in flames with Dulceev's suicide. The problem is that there are countless companies and governments profiting off the BTC pipeline. Whoever is behind it, they may be too big for a simple security firm like us to do anything.
Yeah, one thing we do know, though, is that Sundowner is more than just a pawn in all of this.
No, he seems like kind of a pawn to me.
We need to watch him. Trafficking or not, we need to stop their operation.
Oh, that's
here.
right. We have some kind of
Find the
footage of
evidence,
Sundowner
and
being
perhaps
involved
we can
in
do that.
this
And
weird
Tovarich,
Mexican situation.
be careful.
Thank you, Tovarich. Raiden. We have received the final order from Staff. Man, one of these days I was going to play Allied General. I need to think about getting on that now that I have the ability to record it off of... Bobo got me a PS1 copy of it as a gift years ago when I was trying to figure out how to play it. And in the meantime, I do think I can play it on a PS2 using the same setup. Or, I think I could do it. But it would be a pain in the ass. And from what I can't really imagine playing that game on a PlayStation controller. It'd probably be terrible. But it would finally allow you guys to understand why I'm always going to Rich Commander.
Have you ever worked with this client of ours before?
Duh. Several active human rights groups engage in non-violent interventions like this one.
Non-violent
Typically,
interventions
they
like
hire
sending
firms
a
like
robot
ours
ninja
to provide
cyborg monster to
security
kill
and
everyone.
Most serious human rights abuses take place in unstable regions, after all. Legitimate human rights groups, not fakes set up by oil firm or such things, they cannot handle it.
Yeah. It's different for private groups working in hostile regions.
They don't have
Especially when
ninja
some of that
robot
hostility
cyborg
comes from the
monsters.
local authorities.
Yeah.
Indeed. NGOs and security firms play a greater role in peacekeeping, too. You know, DDR business. Disarmament,
CCR?
demobilization, reintegration. Like the UN runs it.
I guess they just basically
Usually
tell you what
carrying
WR is.
weapons is not permitted for the group involved, for obvious reasons.
So they have to
outfits
send
like
in
ours
robot
run
ninja
guard
gangsters
duty.
like you.
If the locals don't like armed peacekeepers, then they pretend to be unarmed observers instead.
Duh. It's beneficial for the client if the locals are aware of the firepower backing them, though. I've drank tea with the sort of people my company would normally be pushing back with the butts of our rifles. It's very different from usual. More direct sort of security work, especially at beginning. But I got used to it. Less danger of unexpected conflict, and the pay is pretty good. We've built a good reputation for this kind of work. This is why
good.
NGO hired us for this job.
NGO. NGO is just a generic term for non-government organization, I believe, but I just like thinking of it as NGO. NGO.
How are things back in Abkhazia?
Thanks to the full efforts
Oh,
of
wow.
the workers, power was restored.
Maybe there's
Only
not
the kill
800
time.
hours worth
Then
of this
I'll
to
thank
listen to at the
Black
beginning of the new act.
Let's hope.
We can hope. Even
Whoever.
the problem is whoever
Yeah, we need.
find and to
Okay, let's give him one more chance to say something new, and then we can actually move on.
Have you ever worked with this client of ours?
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
In the usual.
So if the
It's very. We've built.
So we'll probably get some more stuff from him later, but and I actually kind of like. I find Boris as a character more fun than Kevin or Courtney, just because he's got an accent, I guess. But yeah, I'm fine with not having 8 hours of dialogue with him.
trial mentioned someone from her past. Any idea who that could have been?
No, it's a
None.
terrorist. I don't know why you
I checked
told
her
her that he
file
wasn't
again,
in love with
couldn't
her.
find a thing.
Seems like a mean thing to say to a
Definitely
guy.
not Dulceev. Probably not Sundowner either.
Sundowner couldn't
No.
win a girl like her.
The way she put it, it didn't sound like anyone. I've
Oh, she wasn't
encountered
talking about
so
who she
far.
was in love with. She was
Maybe
talking
someone
about who
involved in backing
inspired
Desperado.
her.
If so, sounds like they're providing more than just financing. Maybe they share the same philosophy.
Or maybe she
That'd
was
be
totally in
bad.
love with this guy.
People willing to die for their leaders aren't so easy to predict.
Well, you can predict they're
Yeah,
going to
but
be willing
other
to die
than the
for the
wins,
leaders.
Desperado's cyborgs are all just hired contractors. They're probably
Nobody gets them. They're like the wind,
nanos
baby.
or drugs or whatever, but that's about it.
You're probably right.
I mean, stranger things have happened than you being right.
You know, I've never really developed a taste for climbing through sewers. And Guadalajaras aren't exactly wowing me either. This place isn't gonna go up in flames, right? I think I saw something about that.
Also, are there crocodiles down here?
You're talking about 1992? What a mess. Over 200 people killed. That was almost a half century ago, though. You smell anything off? Before the explosions, residents complained they smelled gas from the sewers.
I'm in a sewer, Kev. You think I've got my smell receptors on?
Well, I can't
Local
shut
air
mine off,
analysis doesn't
Raiden,
show
so maybe it
anything
didn't occur to
potentially
me.
Poisonous or explosive, though.
Well, you ought to be fine then. Besides, little gas explosion's probably not going to kill someone like you.
Well, that's very encouraging. Seriously, though, Guadalajara is not a bad place. At least from what I've seen.
It's sewers.
No, it's not. Second largest city in Mexico, after all. I've actually spent a lot of time down there.
Running from the
Got a lot of
feds.
charm. The architecture is a fusion of Latin and old colonial Spanish culture. The city's historic district is home to a massive cathedral overlooking the whole town.
It's called
It's always bustling. It's a lot of fun just
Cathedral.
kicking back and watching the locals. Walking around the
Laughing at
Libertad,
them.
taking in the sun with a cerveza
Feeling
in one
better
hand,
than them.
mariachi band nearby. No better way to spend a weekend, let me tell you.
If this PMC thing doesn't work out, you'd make one hell of a tour guide.
Except that it didn't actually give you much
Meanwhile,
information.
I'm down in this dark, filthy, humid, cramped sewer.
Also, if you ask me, the girls over there are the
Again, they have
hottest
this
in all of
thing where
Mexico.
people are supposed to be
You
interrupting
wouldn't believe
Raiden,
some
but
of
they
the
don't
chicas
cut
I've
it
chatted
right.
up. On the street, in the shopping malls, at the bars.
Sounds like better company than a robo-wolf and a bunch of plague-ridden mice.
I don't know, man. That Robo-Wolf's pretty hot.
Well, hang in there.
Well,
I'll buy you a shot of
you might.
tequila after we wrap this
Some
up.
people might think so.
The city of Tequila's not far, actually. That's where it originated.
I'll take you up on that. Now let's get this over with. Hey, Kev, let me ask you something.
What's up?
What's up,
We've been over
Kev?
pretty much all the...
No. Those girls in Guadalajara, you never told me what happened.
Well, I just mentioned them like 4 seconds
Jeez,
ago,
man, We're in
Raiden.
the middle of a mission here.
So they used you for free drinks and then took off, I take it, huh?
Well, they weren't really my type.
They had all the wrong
I'm more of
STDs.
an intellectual, you know? I don't go for just any random girl at a bar. Looks are one thing, but I need someone I can talk to.
And most of them
Fun,
spoke
but clever,
Spanish.
with a good sense of humor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Look, Kev, you're in your 30s now. It's time to stop holding out for Lil Miss Perfect.
Hey,
You just
listen,
need to
dude,
find
you
someone nice.
settle down
You
with
know,
Rose, so
settle
you don't
down,
talk.
Start a family.
Okay, Mom. Okay.
Laugh all you want, Kev, but having kids will change your life.
I have a
can't see him
child
all
that will
the
never
time.
be
It's
mentioned
working
in this
out.
game.
But
Well, except for
whenever
him.
I'm back home, he's always so excited to see me.
He thinks
When
I'm
I
a
see
robot
that,
ninja gangster.
I feel like,
Look at the look
you
on
know,
Kev's face.
I want to do whatever I can to keep him happy.
Sure, I hear you. But look, man, I was just having some fun in Mexico.
So why don't you back the
I
fuck
wasn't
off?
seriously searching for a wife or anything.
I know.
If I was going to do that, I would have gone to Thailand.
I just think you've gotten too damn picky. I can understand trying to find the ideal woman when you're young, but you know what?
You're a
It's those
decrepit
little
old man in your
imperfections,
30s.
Those idiosyncrasies that keep things interesting in the long run. You come to appreciate that kind of stuff in a lifetime relationship.
She's right. You're really
Idiosyncrasies,
boring.
huh? Like if she snores or she talks loud during movies.
Or she waves her arms
Well, not if
around
she
like
talks during
octopus
movies.
tentacles.
A man's got to have some standards.
That was actually kind of funny.
Miss Trawl mentioned someone from her past. Any idea who that could have been?
None. I checked. the
Okay, I
file
was about
again,
to skip
couldn't find
through,
a
but I
thing.
think that was the thing we said to
Definitely not
Boris.
Dolzaev. Probably not.
Never mind, it
Maybe
is something we
if
said to her.
that'd be bad.
Yeah. but
Okay,
probably-
yeah, we did have this exact conversation. All right, Courtney, what up, lady?
Can't believe Dolzaev blew himself up.
What kind of
Pretty
terrorist
common
does
terror
that?
Tactic. You don't usually see the leaders doing it, though. It's one thing to get your flock pumped up on the glory of dying for the cause, but it's not often they actually go through with it themselves.
Generally, they only
You gotta
do
have
it
a public
once.
Face, after all. The guy who gets to claim responsibility on the evening news.
In a weird way, Dolzaev showed some serious dedication. Not that I'm about to praise him for it.
I'm here to
Yeah,
bury
still
Dolzaev,
a
not to praise
terrorist.
him.
A suicide bomber in the end.
If that's what you want to call him. Still, he kind of
Well, he
failed
was
at it.
literally a suicide
How so?
bomber.
Well, all that explosion did was put a dent in Abkhazia's budget. More Russia's, really. They're the ones rebuilding the refinery. The coup didn't work out. He couldn't overthrow the government. He was barely a blip on Russia's radar.
We succeeded
So,
totally.
You're saying the bombing didn't accomplish any of his goals? He did it just because he was cornered?
Well,
Sounds more like
then he
just
was upset
plain
about Mistral,
suicide.
I think.
Yeah. Probably wanted to end things with his own hands. Like a samurai committing harakiri.
Still
Sure.
not something to be commended for, though.
Yeah.
Samurai
Lumping him
suck.
in with true warriors like the samurai just gives them a bad
Oh,
name.
get off of the samurai. I know it's this. So this. I don't know if the company that made this game is Japanese or American. Because I remember hearing somewhere that Kojima was willing to let someone else make a Metal Gear game that didn't feature Snake and Otacon, but that. And I didn't hear him say this in his own words because he doesn't speak English, as far as I know. But I did hear that there was, and I thought it was kind of racist. Frankly, it's like he didn't think non-Japanese people could make a sword game. Like they didn't have an understanding of the sword that would allow them to make a competent sword-based video game, which is like, all right, Kojima, fuck off. But that being said, yeah, this game wanks off on samurai culture, as you would. So I think it is actually. I don't know, and I don't know why I'm speculating about it because I don't know the answer. But the company that made this game, I don't know if they're Japanese or not. But yeah, there's some wanking off on samurai culture going on for sure.
I hope she didn't get to you. Wanting to protect
giant
the weak
fake
is,
knockers.
that's worth striving for.
Don't worry. I've heard more than a few supervillain spiels in my time.
Even spiels.
Maybe we had some things in common in our past, but not anymore.
Because
I
my
bring
past involves
beliefs
being
into every
alive.
battle I fight. You want to call me foolish? Well, that's not going to change me.
Rose
Glad
has
to
been
hear
calling
that,
me
Raiden.
foolish for a long time.
Yeah, thanks. Riding out.
Riding out.
Say, Raiden, where'd you get that hat you were wearing?
Oh, it's
This
DLC.
sombrero? Well, picked it up at a souvenir store here. I guess I just kind of like the design.
Made me really
Also,
blend
when
in.
you're on
White
a
blonde
scout
guy
mission,
wearing a
It's
sombrero.
vital that you use the local attire to blend into the background.
I think she's about to make fun of exactly
yeah.
the point I was making.
I think it looked pretty good on you. You looked like some kind of mariachi singer.
Like El
You think
Mariachi.
so?
Yep. Only that's kind of a problem too.
How so?
Well, I mean, that sombrero really is meant to be part of a mariachi costume. Mexicans don't wear hats like that normally.
You mean
Come
they
on.
don't dress like
The
they're
guy at the
performing on
shop told me
television?
I'd look just like a local.
Yeah, a local tourist maybe. Look, you might see a lot of Mexican men wearing sombreros during their daily routine.
Can we switch to talking about
but,
Mexican food?
Nothing
What's
like
your
that.
favorite flavor of
They go for
Dorito
something a lot more
Loco
simple
Taco?
and compact. Something not all that different from cowboy hats in the Old West.
Oh, don't
Are
start
you
talking
sure?
about cowboy hats. I just
I don't
got
know if
done
it's true or
playing
not,
through
but
Arthur giving
I
his
have
hat to
heard
John
one theory
Marston.
about the
I'm still
modern
not over
cowboy
it.
hat. They say it's based on the sombreros the original Western settlers brought from Mexico. Of course, cowboy hats come in all shapes and sizes, so you can't really say a specific one's the cowboy hat.
Well,
Well, now I know why the locals were so eager to get a look at me.
That wasn't the hat.
yeah, you're also a fucking robot ninja gangster.
By the way, Raiden, have you ever eaten nopalitos? They're typically called nopales.
Are they available at Taco Bell? Because otherwise,
like that
no.
street vendor was selling. Nope. No pales.
Well, that's too bad. You really ought to try some while you're in the area.
But boil the
Yeah,
water.
but it's from a cactus, right? Doesn't it taste all thin and watery?
Not at all. It's kind of like the flesh of aloe vera leaves or the seaweed used in Japanese cooking.
Did I ever tell
It's
you
got
how
this
wonderful
really
Japan
soft,
is?
The crunchy texture, and it's really versatile. You can eat nopales as is in a salad, saute them, stir fry them with steak, put them in tacos.
You can put pretty
You
much
can even
anything in
toss
a
them
taco.
in the blender to make some juice.
I had no idea.
Tell me about it. I got hooked after
It's
Boris
like better
took me to
than
this
being
one
in a
Mexican
cardboard
restaurant.
box.
After that, I just had to learn more about them. Ooh, for example, they're really low in calories. They also have lots of soluble and insoluble
Yeah, most
fiber,
vegetation
which
that
not
is
only
90%
promotes
water is
digestion,
low in
but
calories.
is great for maintaining healthy cholesterol and blood pressure levels. It's even thought to help prevent intestinal cancer. It's packed with healthy stuff too, like vitamins B and C, potassium, and iron.
And peyote.
Okay, I get it. It's good for you. So how does
Packed
it
with
taste?
peyote.
I just told you.
Never mind. Probably can't capture any food down here anyway. Not that I'd need to. My muscles run on fuel cells, and I've got enough blood sugar to keep my brain running for another week.
Yeah, but is it
Well,
going to start
you
running
can still
properly
eat,
anytime
though,
soon?
right?
Yep.
So, how about we all go out for Mexican once you're done? Food's a lot more than just an energy supply, you know? It's meant to be enjoyed.
With that, I agree.
And I'm really ready to talk to Doctor now.
Raiden, what you said before about your sword being a tool of justice,
Nydia
I
is
say I
a
agree
tool of
100%.
Jamie
I
Tool.
wish all PMCs thought that way.
That's entirely for
Glad to hear you say
the benefit
that.
of one viewer.
You mentioned it was part of some samurai code?
Yeah, it's up,
Yeah.
up, down, down, left, right,
I
left,
didn't grow
right.
up using a sword.
BA started.
I fell into it by chance during a mission. After that, I decided to train with the HF
Oh, come on. He
blade.
was supposed to know how to use
Studied
the
a lot of
HF
samurai
blade to the
techniques.
degree he did in Metal
I
Gear
really got
Solid
into
2
it.
Sons
Started
of
learning
Liberty,
more
and that was
more
supposed to be
about
the first
ancient
time he
Japan
used
and
one.
the samurai code. I tore through stacks of books, movies, Anything I could get my hands
Hey, did
on.
you know that my name is a reference to a Japanese
Somehow
fighter
hard to
plane?
imagine you settling in with a big bucket of popcorn.
Oh no, I was eating like
Cyborg can't have
weird
hobbies.
Mexican
I'll have you
peyote
know
things.
I'm actually a huge movie buff.
Okay, okay.
Back off,
So
man.
that's where you picked up this Sword of Justice creed?
Yeah.
Actually, can
Most of it from a single master named Munenori Yagyu.
Who is, I think,
He
playable
founded
in
a school
Samurai
of
Warriors.
swordsmanship on the idea that violence can be
Hey,
necessary.
you know, I'm a
for the
movie
greater
buff. Can I
good.
trade you in for paramedic?
called
I know
it
she turned out to be
Katsujinken,
evil, but
the life-giving sword. Yagyu believed power isn't evil in itself. It's how it's applied that matters.
That's deep,
As
man.
time went on, Katsujinken incorporated deterrence. It took on the meaning of winning without fighting. Or as I like to say, one sword keeps another in the sheath. That's from George Herbert.
I'm gonna arm
He
myself
was
with
an
nuclear
English
weapons
priest,
so no one will mess with
17th
me.
century, almost the same era as Yagyu.
It's a universal idea, I guess.
And then there's Yagyu Jubei.
You
who
could
was
frame
like
the
really
same
cool,
message
but
as
also
use of
fictional.
a necessary evil. But I think it's a good mindset for any PMC,
At least as long as there's fighting that requires us in the first place.
which doesn't seem likely to change anytime soon.
Not as long as it's so much fun.
You know, I have to hand it to you guys. Cyborgs are just amazing to me. So much
The way your heads
power
can
and
spin around and then pop up,
That's
and I
not
can
all
pop them back
gravy.
down again.
No? How so?
Well, things have improved a lot in the past few years. But back when I was modded for the first time, keeping artificial
You were
blood free
modded?
of
Did you say
impurities was
something
a huge
improper on a
hassle.
forum?
Artificial muscles need a constant flow of oxygen from a blood source.
And I never
just
did
like
get
the
my
real
own
thing.
blood back.
But it was a challenge getting the kidney units as small as they needed to be. We all had to undergo routine dialysis.
Sounds rough.
Used to be even worse back when Dr. Clark was still experimenting. Bad nerve
Dr.
connections
Clark.
would
Oh,
screw with the
paramedic
test
did get
subject's
mentioned.
Pain receptors. It was torture. Compared to that, I had it pretty easy.
It wasn't until recently that you could eat and drink like normal people, right?
That's right. We generally use glucose-based nutrient packs to keep the brain running.
You
But we
refer
can
to them as
absorb nutrients
Pop-Tarts.
orally now too. Whatever we eat's broken down by nanomachines. And we have taste sensors as well. It's not exactly like it was before. The difference is, I can turn those sensors off if I don't need them. That's been
For example, when I'm
surprisingly
eating your
useful.
cooking, or
So
smelling a
cyborgs can
sewer.
live pretty much normal lives now?
Well, getting there. We still need fuel cells and nutrition packs, not to mention regular maintenance.
And we're
It's a
really
lot of
big
dough.
fans of reality
Of course,
television,
so
so
we're
another
not
big problem is
normal.
how other people look at you.
actually,
How
that
do
is
you mean?
normal.
There was a time when I wore artificial skin. Tried to look as close to normal as possible. I've still got some now, on my face. The tech at the time wasn't great. You still looked pretty unnatural. Maybe
Not
you could
all
fool
natural
someone
like I
from
do
far
now.
away, but up close, even a baby could tell I wasn't human.
They used to
Going out
pull it off of
shopping
me.
or whatever, you could feel all those eyes on you. I tried to find
Because
something
I have
to
way
do
too
other
many
than
eyes on my
fight.
artificial
But looking
skin.
like I did got me 2 strikes pretty much as soon as I walked through the door.
That sounds terrible.
Well, you appreciated it when people were honest about it, at least. But when they were too polite to just say so, that was rough. Things are getting
I love
better
when
these
people
days,
come up to
though.
me and insult me to my
Artificial
face.
skin's improved a lot. And you don't get so many stares now that the general public knows about cyborgs.
Now that everyone
Oh,
has a
maybe I should look
cyborg
into
watching
the
over them
cyborg
to make
thing,
sure
huh?
they obey the
I
new
can
Robo
eat
Masters.
whatever I want, whenever I want.
Wow.
Probably cheaper just getting lipo, Courtney.
Jerk.
How dare you suggest that I'm not sincere about my desire to become a cyborg that constantly stuffs her robo-face?
Courtney, there's something I'd like your opinion on.
It's
What's up?
My penis.
It's how I
sorry.
replenish my electrolytes. I'm basically feeding off these cyborgs.
oh yeah, so you're a Robo Ninja
Oh,
cyborg
yeah.
vampire gangster.
That. I don't really see any better options, to be honest.
Consume
I
the
doubt
blood
your
of your
old body would
enemies.
have stood up against the Desperado captains or Jetstream Sam. And if we fail here, it's not only bad for us, but for our clients and all of Sakumi.
Yeah.
We're done with the Sakumi
right.
mission.
Besides, it's like you say, no one's forcing them to be here. They chose to throw in with the terrorists.
So suck their blood all day long.
Look, I won't lie. I don't feel great about it. But in the scheme of things, yes, I think it's justified.
And it's not like you've
Thanks.
changed your name to Vamp and
I
started
guess
going.
it's never
yeah,
black
please.
and white in this business, is it?
No. No, it's not.
There's often shades of purple and lavender.
Do you and Kevin work a lot together, Raiden?
Well,
if I can
Maverick's
help
not
it.
that big. Unless you're a short-term contractor, you tend to work with the same guys. Last job we were on together, I was hired by the Carabinieri to track down 3 Albanian mafiosos. They'd fled Italy for Montenegro, and I had to bring them back.
It would have been a
Wasn't easy.
DLC mission,
All
but
3 of them had
we ran out of
cybernetic
time.
upgrades. Without Kev, I could have been in serious trouble.
Down where,
He
Kev?
was with an NGO before Maverick, I think, handling disarmament work for the UN.
Yeah.
The
He and
Uncola.
Boris met while working together to resolve a conflict in Africa.
That worked
They
out
hit
great,
it
by the
off.
way.
So when Boris gave him a job
Maybe it was the
opportunity,
actual
he took
successfully
it.
resolved conflict
I
and
kind of
not the
wonder
one we just got
why.
done messing
We're
up in
pretty
the
much
first
the
2 videos.
opposite of a disarmament outfit.
3 things are needed after a conflict: disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration into society.
We're terrible at all
That's
of
the way it
them.
usually goes. I guess Kevin felt like the process was getting to be a joke. Even if the UN taps the
Dane
group that caused
Cook
the
joke.
conflict for post-war cleanup, there's no way of ensuring their sincere cooperation. There's always a chance they'll underreport the number of soldiers they've got on hand.
That, or they only disarm the useless parts of their force. The ones with outdated weapons and gear.
Like you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they can hide their standing force, the one with all the up-to-date weaponry, from the UN. Afghanistan saw a lot of that, since the wars were all waged by rival military cliques.
Oh, those tricky
Anyway,
little funsters.
Kev saw that happening on a daily basis in Africa. Guess he just wanted a job where he had a firmer grasp on what was going on.
Where he knew
And then
what's
along
going
comes
on,
Boris.
Holmes.
Kev had to think it over for a while, sure. But, well, here we all are.
PMCs are going to need more people like him. And me too, I guess. You know, civilian viewpoints.
You know,
Couldn't agree more.
chicks with huge knockers whose main character trait is knocking over coffee.
Actually, if you go through all the Codec stuff, you do get a little sense of everyone's personality. If you only see the mandatory story scenes, you really do not have personality from these people at all.
Raiden, can I ask you something?
What's
Sure.
up with the blood
What is
suckling?
it?
Just wondering, why'd you join Maverick in the first place?
Yeah, something to do.
Well, Boris and I go way back. Our first time working together was rescuing Sonny. That's Colonel
Prison,
Vukovic's
where she'd been
granddaughter.
sent because of drunk
He
driving.
and Boris were good friends back in the USSR.
Right. The Patriots were holding her?
Yeah, I was mainly working with the PLA, but Boris was a huge help. His Russian military connections paid off big time.
So
All
that's
his
neat. I don't
covert
think I
op
knew this about the
experience, too.
backstory.
He wasn't working pro bono, of course, but he went above and beyond the call. The Patriots were a threat to everyone, not just America. He got that.
Patriots
And
were
when
particularly a
Paradise
threat
lost
to
his bandit, he formed
non-America.
a new outfit and got them all work.
Most of them, anyway, including me.
Did you ever consider another line of work? Something non-military, I mean?
Well,
I'm
at one
a
point I
cyborg.
thought about being a pastry
What am I gonna
chef.
do? Drive an ice cream truck?
Yeah, I'd be
I
a
can pass
badass
as
ice cream
normal
truck.
from a distance, but up close, anyone can tell it's artificial skin. Good jobs aren't easy to come by these days, even for non-cyborgs. And I've got a family to feed.
What would my
Besides,
non-cyborg sweetie
I've
say?
been fighting my whole life. It's just
Man
who
could
I am.
spend his whole life running
Sorry,
before he
I
realizes he's running from
Didn't mean to pry.
himself.
It's fine, Courtney. No worries.
I was going to go into a Dutch Vanderland speech there. I've been fighting all my life, John. Can't fight my nature.
So, Courtney, you've heard my story. What about you? How'd you end
Oh,
up at
same
Maverick?
thing. I was rescuing
Me?
Sonny from the Patriots, you know.
Well, it's funny. I was a business major, actually. Thought I'd go for an MBA.
But decided to get an
When I was in
MSA
school,
like a
there was lot of
real
talk about
pro.
the widening gap between rich and poor. I figured I'd join the 1%
One
and never have
percent,
to worry
one
about money
percent,
again.
1% sucks,
Pretty
1%
noble,
sucks.
huh?
Sorry. Again,
Anyway, around then you
that
started
was for
hearing all
one
about
viewer.
this war economy stuff on the news. I was, I don't know, disgusted, I guess. Disillusioned,
well, the
for
1%
sure.
will have that effect
that
on
changed
people. I
your
mean,
mind?
Bobby Shields.
It wasn't just the
Very
war
upsetting.
stuff that bothered me. It's everything it represented. How so much of what the first world
Logan
enjoys
is
comes at
even
the
worse.
expense of third world people. The more I researched, the more I realized how bad things are. Underreported,
But then
too.
I realized I
After
didn't know
that,
what the Second World
money
referred
wasn't such
to,
a
and that's
priority
actually,
anymore.
you have to
I
dig
know
farther
how
to
trite
figure out what that meant
sounds,
than
but
you'd think.
It's true. I wasn't naive, though. I knew living in some hippie commune or going Amish wouldn't change anything.
Although I really,
So
really
I started
considered
looking
going
for a
Amish.
career where I felt I might actually have an impact.
You didn't worry about
Joint
working at a
Impact
PMC?
Wrestling.
Becoming part of the problem?
Well, I wasn't going to sign up with just anybody. But not all PMCs are bad, you know?
Just this one.
Some of them, sure. They'll do anything for a buck, no questions asked. That's why someone has to stand up to them. Protect the innocent from those guys.
That's us in a nutshell. So you did your homework and found Maverick.
And you never finished your
Honestly,
MBA?
It was more dumb luck than anything else. I had a friend who knew I was interested in this kind of work who was also friends with Kevin.
She knew
They
that Kevin was
introduced
into
us,
blondes,
we set
so...
up a meeting, and here I am.
That's right. I always forget you and Kev went to
So
the
why
same
was
school.
she talking about how he and Kev have
Definitely
this strong
not your
background? If
typical
she and
path
Kev
for
have this
joining
strong
PMC,
background, like,
that's
wouldn't
for
they have
sure.
already known each other? Yeah.
I really am here to fix the world. I know it's a cliche, but...
Hey, don't say
There it
French
is.
words. I'm still thinking
Well,
about Mistral.
I, for one, am glad to hear it.
Anyways,
All right, well, you know, when we only had 2 speeches from Boris, I thought we might not have an entire video of this, but we had an entire video of this. Man, I've been a little disappointed. I mean, it's a hobby. I'm doing it for fun. But I was like, I'm seeing the viewing figures on this one. I'm like, man, it's not as many people watching as I would have liked. Maybe the fact that it's only coming out twice a week and every other video is all codec is part of the problem. Nevertheless, if you want to see an all-action, no-plot playthrough of this game, you know that this isn't the right channel for that. And hopefully you're still enjoying things as we go. And as ever, I give you permission to skip the videos where you see nothing but me talking to, Doctor about, no, here's another explanation of something goofy going on in your cyborg body, Raiden. Oh my god, the next video is going to be all talking to Doctor, isn't it? Oh well, I guess I'll see you then. Bye-bye.